Good afternoon, good evening, fellow ruminators. Welcome back to another session, Rumination with Andrew. And thank you for joining one more time as we are about to discuss a very important topical matter. Now, this afternoon, this evening, we will be talking to Ambassador Sir Ronald Sanders, and he is the U.S. ambassador the to Antigua, right? And Antigua is a Caribbean country. It's a Caribbean island that is located in the West Indies. Now, he will be joining us shortly, and we are going to be talking about the situation in Haiti, right? This untenable crisis, socio-political crisis that is bedeviling the Caribbean nation of Haiti. So we are waiting on the distinguished ambassador, Sir Ronald Sanders, to speak with us and to enlighten us as to what is happening in that country, in that Caribbean nation called Haiti. Now, whilst he is getting himself ready, because the interview is scheduled for 7 o'clock, that's 7 p.m., so he'll be joining us shortly. We will have a little chat about what is happening in Haiti. And we see that, I read the Gleaner this morning and I learned that the Canadian military forces will be joining the Jamaican military defense. That's the Jamaica Defense Force, the Jamaican military in Jamaica, to practice or to train for that joint military endeavor. The multinational security forces that the US, the United Nations, and the core group would like to send or to deploy to Haiti. So we are going to listen to what the Ambassador Ronald Sanders has to say. What is his reaction in light of what is happening to Haiti and the fact that CARICOM, the Caribbean community, is actually joining forces with the international community? Hello. Can you hear me, Sir Sanders? Hello. We are currently being joined by Sir Sanders. That is the U.S. ambassador to Antigua, and we are just about to connect. So please.
Wrong.
Hello. Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. First of all, I have to point out to you that I'm not the American ambassador to Antigua.
Okay.
I'm the Antiguan and Barbudan Ambassador to the United States.
Okay, all right, good. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sir Sanders, for that correction. Now, could you please introduce yourself? Since, I went ahead and made that mistake, could you please introduce yourself and tell us why you are, well, I consider you an expert on Haiti, but why you are a qualified person to speak on this particular topic?
Well, I don't know that I'm qualified to speak on it any more than anybody else. You invited me to speak, and therefore, here I am.
Well, I think that you are more than qualified, sir. I have read a lot of your articles coming from the Jamaica Observer, from the Jamaican Gleaner, and also from the Trinidadian Express. That's the Tobago. Well, is that from Tobago or from Trinidad? But it's, from the Twin Republic of Trinidad. Now, let's begin, Sir Sanders, with the interview. Could you, sir, contextualize what is happening in Haiti at this point? So often we hear about Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. That is how the Western media describe Haiti. And as a result of being the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, as they so deem it, they think that whenever there's a socio-political upheaval, the international community have to they have to invade, they have to intervene in Haiti. Why? Why do you think? Could you contextualize what is happening in Haiti?
Well, I don't think the two things are linked in the way that you have proffered it.
Yes.
You're suggesting that the Western media and others in the Western countries are saying Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere.
Correct.
And and therefore that it needs some kind of military intervention.
Yes.
I don't think, I'm not sure how we got to connect those two things so quickly. Haiti has a very long history, and any analysis of Haiti has to start from its beginnings. Haiti, as you know, was a slave settlement of
Yes.
France.
Yes.
And for many, many years, France and French plantation owners exploited the resources of Haiti with the labor of slaves,
Correct.
who got absolutely no compensation for their labor.
Yes.
And who were, in the course of French occupation of that country, treated their slaves very badly.
Correct.
Eventually, there were several rebellions by the slave population, which ended up in the late 1790s with a revolution led by Toussaint Louverture, and eventually to the declaration of Haiti as an independent state by what was then the slave population, and who were at that moment persons who had liberated themselves from slavery.
Correct.
Now, that liberation did not come at a cheap price. First of all, the French made sure that by the process of threatening to reinvade the country and to slaughter everybody who had taken part in that revolution.
Yes.
They threatened them that they had to pay what would be in the equivalent sum today, $50 billion. And they had to pay that $50 billion as a price for continuing to exist as a free republic.
Correct.
Now, that $50 billion was not repaid until 1919, and they started paying it in 1804. So you could see that it went on for a very long time.
Correct.
But that deprivation of financial resources from Haiti to France, which contributed significantly to France's continued development and its emergence as a strong European power, decimated Haiti altogether and left it in absolute poverty.
Correct.
In fact, destitution would be the better word.
Absolutely.
Now, Haiti was then invaded by the United States of America, which occupied it for almost 30 years. And the reason it invaded it is because Haiti had to borrow money from American banks in order to repay the debt to France.
Correct.
What France called the debt, but which is really what the Haitians had to pay, even though they had liberated themselves.
Yes.
So their default on one of those loans caused the United States Army to invade the country and occupy it for 30 years.
Yes.
And to run it in a fashion that left it even more destitute than they had found it.
Correct.
Including stopping the production of certain food crops that were prevalent in Haiti. And now Haiti is importing those food crops from the United States.
Correct.
Now, the United States also, over time, took a particular interest in Haiti because of its strategic location nearby the United States, and imposed upon that country one dictator after another.
Correct.
Starting with Papa Doc Duvalier, and then his son, Baby Doc Duvalier, and a series of other people who enriched themselves in the political hierarchy of Haiti, while the people of Haiti the majority of the people of Haiti remained poor.
Correct.
Now, the political hierarchy, in their own fight with each other over turf and for power, employed gangs.
Correct.
And so too did the business community, who represent less than 10% of the people of Haiti, but have 90% of the wealth. And, they too employed gangs in order to protect themselves. Over time, what has happened is that those gangs have become more powerful than the people who employ them to begin with.
Correct.
And they clearly see no reason why they should continue to serve either the rotten politicians with whom they were involved or the equally rotten private sector people at the top of the society who were making money off of their brutality of each other and of the Haitian people.
Correct.
So that's the story, and that's where we're at today.
Now,
the gangs now control almost 80% of Haiti. It's complete lawlessness. After the death of Jovenel Moïse, the late president of Haiti in 2022, and since then, the country has been without any legitimacy in its governance. It has no structure as normal people in democratic countries would know it. There is no legislature. There is no, the courts have been reduced to a semblance of what they were. The police force has been completely depleted, and there is just utter lawlessness.
Yes.
There are some areas where police are still able to control matters, but by and large, Haiti is not controlled by any law enforcement agency.
Correct. Sir Sanders, I'm a little bit disturbed. Well, I shouldn't say disturbed, but a little bit bemused that you have not yet been able to connect, like I have done, the poverty there and the fact that these international forces are exploiting the nation. You know, according to what the narration, the narrative that in the Black Jacobins by C.L.R. James, you know, he narrated that during the revolution, that's the Haitian Revolution, that it was Toussaint's quest to develop the economy, and which he did at the first phase. After the first phase of the revolution, he developed the economy to where it was before the revolution started. You know, it was afterwards when Napoleon sent his armies back into Haiti that they devastated the entire economy. But it was the Louverture's understanding that if they were to have a weak economy, that is how they would have been exploited by Napoleon and his forces. So we are seeing Haiti now, an impoverished state. Of course, it's not a poor country, as many people have said. It has lots of resources, but it has a lot of impoverished people. And as a result of that, you know, the international community seems to be exploiting it. Isn't that a good connection to make in terms of poverty and exploitation?
Well, first of all, I don't know what you mean by the international community.
Well, the US, the UN, and the core group. The US, France, the US, France, Canada, the core group, and the United Nations.
Well, I don't know that the United Nations is exploiting Haiti. The United Nations is made up of 183 countries, including my own.
Yes.
And I can assure you that my country is not exploiting Haiti at all.
Right.
I'm equally convinced that the majority of nations in the world have absolutely no relationship with Haiti whatsoever, and have not had a historical relationship with Haiti.
Okay.
The two countries that were primarily exploiters of Haiti were France to begin with, the United States.
Yes.
Now, Canada has begun to play a role in Haiti, largely because of the number of Haitians who leave Haiti shores every year, trying to get to Canada illegally as refugees.
Correct.
Canada, therefore, has taken an interest in Haiti in order to protect its own borders and protect its borders from immigrants. Now, the exploitation of Haiti happened by those two countries. Its condition of poverty was caused by those two countries. The international community had very little to do with it. And with the countries in the Caribbean, for instance, while Haiti was a part of the Caribbean, we were very separate in terms of our development, in terms of our language, in terms even of aspects of our culture. And there was very little connection between Haiti and the English-speaking Caribbean. Even to this day, while we are speaking, that paucity of connectedness between Haiti and the Caribbean continues to exist. If you ask 90% of the Haitian people about the Caribbean, they could not tell you.
Yes.
They would know the Bahamas and they would know Jamaica. And that's only because some of them are aware that that is a route they use in their efforts to get to the United States or to Canada. But beyond that, the Caribbean has no particular significance to the Haitian people.
Correct.
Equally, the Caribbean countries, the English-speaking Caribbean countries, the Dutch-speaking Caribbean countries, that grew up alongside Haiti, but with no connection. There was no air travel between them, no sea travel between them, no exchange of culture in any way. So they grew up quite separately. And that continues to be the case today. Haiti is a French-speaking country, not an English-speaking country. And the attitude of the Haitian people is that they lean more closely, even in their present situation, lean more closely to the United States and to Canada than they do to countries in the Caribbean.
Correct.
So to answer your question again, well, not to answer, but to respond to your question, the United Nations had nothing to do with the impoverishment of Haiti, nor did the majority of countries in the world. As I said, there were two countries principally responsible for that, and I identified them. That situation has gone on for a long time, and we must not excuse the dictators of Haiti and the political elite from the impoverishment of Haiti too. They got rich while their people got poor because they were corrupt and they were unforgiving in the manner in which they looted the treasury of Haiti at the expense of the people.
Yeah, and we don't want to have this very narrow understanding of what is happening on the ground, because even during the revolution, we understand that there were so many forces contending against each other. We had, for example, the white people from France. You had also the mulattoes, who were even more so, antagonistic toward the predominantly Black population, the slave population. So we understand that, and they've always worked. That's the mulatto elites and the Haitian elites have always worked with the empires of the world. And right now, the United States is the empire of the world. And you would understand that the United States actually dictates what happens in the region and around the world. So don't you think that the United States, to some extent, has some amount of latitude over what the United Nations does or does not do?
I think I've told you, Mr. Tucker, on more than one occasion in the course of this discourse, that the United States has a very heavy responsibility for what has taken place in Haiti, including its impoverishment. So I make no excuses for saying that, but I thought I made it clear enough. You seem to be saying that I have not made that connection.
Well, I have other perspectives, shall we say? But what are some of the and I think perhaps you might have answered this question. What are some of the geopolitical factors that you think have militated against Haiti's achieving full democracy? Because we hear the Western nations, including perhaps the OAS and the United Nations, they are suggesting that they're there to bring freedom and democracy to the Haitian people. What do you think are some of the geopolitical factors that have militated against such democracy?
Well, one of the most significant contributors to the fact that Haiti has a very underdeveloped political system and has not been able to establish the structures of governance within a framework of democracy and respect for human rights are the Haitian politicians themselves. Who have been so set against one another that they have no clear unified objective. And in their fighting for individual power, they have sacrificed the empowerment of Haiti. In other words, they have contributed to the fact that Haiti has no democracy. They have contributed to the lawlessness that has occurred in Haiti over time. They are very much a part of the problem. And to this day, they remain part of the problem. Even when Jovenel Moïse died, well, let's go even back further. When he came into office, Jovenel Moïse himself encouraged gangs against his opponents, and his opponents had gangs against him. He would not allow elections to be held to reestablish a legislature in Haiti with a Senate and a lower house.
Yeah.
So there was no representation. There was no second arm of government. And all of this was Haiti's doing, not anybody from the outside. And despite everything that people have tried to do to get the parties in Haiti to come together, to find Haitian solutions to their problems, they have unfortunately not been able to do it, which is why, unfortunately, we've had this development in which the Caribbean community, the United States, Canada, and Brazil and Mexico and others have come up with this situation of suggesting a transitional council drawn from the political operators, the private sector, and the interfaith group in Haiti to try to form a structure of governance that will agree to the appointment of a prime minister and then to the appointment of a cabinet to run the country until elections can be held. But even now, with that structure having been put in place, there is not it took over a week for the parties to try to agree amongst themselves as to who each of them would send to that council. Now, finally, they seem to have reached an agreement on who each of them will send to the council. How long that agreement will last is anybody's guess. In any event, they now have to make some joint decisions, which will call for them to act collaboratively and cooperatively in identifying a prime minister for the country and then agreeing upon a cabinet. Whether they can do that or not is left to be seen.
Correct.
One hopes that in the interest of Haiti, that they will do so, because it's about time that the political elite and the business elite in Haiti stop putting themselves before the people of Haiti and put the country of Haiti and the people of Haiti above everything else. Agreed. That is the acid test, that they cannot blame anyone else for their failure to unite behind finding a prime minister that the country can identify and with a cabinet in place to run the country for the next 18 months to 2 years until elections can be held, at which point the political rivals can go back to being political rivals at a general and presidential election from which the people in a transparent process should be able to choose the government they want.
Very good. Now, so Sanders, could you please elaborate on what happened in 2004 during what many people thought was a coup of the then democratically elected Jean-Bertrand Aristide, and how that particular coup might have contributed to what we're seeing now in Haiti?
Well, I don't know very much about the period of 2004, so it would be wrong of me to speak about it.
Okay.
All that I know is that Aristide was a popularly elected president who eventually was overthrown, came back into office, and then there was a second overthrow until there was what was then regarded as free and fair election that resulted in René Préval becoming the president. And I think Préval, for at least a term or term and a half, gave Haiti the kind of leadership that was good for it, and that it needed, and was more democratic than any that we had seen previously. And Préval, of course, took the country through that very difficult period of the earthquake that caused so much ruin and so much loss of life, and managed somehow to keep that place together in a democratic fashion. So, you know, kudos to him. But this business about Aristide and accusations about how he was removed from the country and where he went to, I do not know sufficient enough about that to be able to comment on it authoritatively.
Yeah, many Haitians have contributed that occurrence to what is happening now on the ground in Haiti, because they are suggesting that after that coup, there has not been a legitimate government in Haiti that has been chosen by the people, by the civil society. And
Well,
Haitians.
I don't think that is true, because
Okay.
Preval certainly was elected in a free and fair election.
Okay, all right. In 2010, there are also reports, and I'm not sure if you are aware of that, that he was also scheduled again to have won the elections, but the Clinton, that's Hillary Clinton, then the Secretary of State, intervened, and as a result of that, Preval was asked not to be the president and to allow Martelly that was Rockstar, to be the president of Haiti. After which we had Jovenel Moïse, who is also not, all these people were put there by the international community and not by they were not the popular government that the Haitians wanted.
I don't know how you could say that, because I led the delegation of the Organization of American States to Haiti in February of 2016, when Michel Martelly's term of office had ended.
Okay.
He'd done his 2 terms. His period was coming up to an end. We were within a couple of days of the end of his presidency, but he was refusing to go, even though the opposition parties in the legislature, and we still had a legislature in those days, were saying that his term had ended and that he had to go. Now, he was being advised by a cabal around him, and that cabal was telling him that he couldn't leave because there was no president to replace him.
Yeah.
But of course, there was no president to replace him because there was no election.
Yeah.
And but the fact that your term had come to an end, whether or not an election had been held, it was time for him to go.
Yeah.
And that was certainly the feeling of the Senate and of the lower house of the Congress of Haiti. And I led that delegation to the US in February of 2016, when we persuaded Martelly that his term of office had finished, and that in the interest of the Haitian people, he ought to step down and allow the political parties that were represented in Parliament to form a government, as the Constitution allowed.
Yeah.
The Constitution at the time said that in the absence of a president, the president of the Senate would be called upon to form a government until such time as elections could be held to renew a mandate for a new president.
Correct.
And that is precisely what happened. Jocelyn Prévert, who was the president of the Senate, became the head of the interim government. But it was an interim government made up of several of the political parties, all of whom were represented in Parliament at the time. And they took the country to the next election. That was the election at which Jovenel Moïse won.
Yeah.
Now, he did not, in normal circumstances, I am not sure that Jovenel Moïse would have won that election. But as you may recall, there was a huge hurricane just before the election was held. Yeah. The result of which is there was a very low turnout at the poll. I don't think more than 30% of the people turned up to vote. And of that, Jovenel Moïse won a majority. But it was a very small majority. And most of the people had not cast a vote, and he wasn't a popular president. The fact that he was not a popular president did not give him legitimacy to run a government, and he encountered the problems that he did from within Haiti, not from outside, from within Haiti and from Haitian people and Haitian political parties. And eventually we know what his fate was. It all ended up with his being assassinated in circumstances which up to this today remain very curious. And the parties who were involved in that assassination, some of them remain a mystery. Yeah. And they're yet to be identified. So, you know, the whole of that governance structure of Moïse was not built on solid ground, and it certainly did not have the support of the Haitian people. And any person who tries, and he dismantled the legislature, as he dismantled aspects of the other law enforcement agencies.
That's Jovenel Moïse. Jovenel Moïse
himself.
Yeah.
Right. So once you start doing that kind of thing, what you're doing is you're eroding any democratic structures that were in place, and you were destroying any systems of governance that there were. So in a sense, he created the conditions which allowed the lawlessness to end up with his own assassination, and now with these gangs running Haiti.
Which leads to the next question, Sir Sanders. What do you think is the comparison between Jovenel Moïse and Ariel Henry? Because Ariel Henry seems to also have been a very unpopular prime minister, acting prime minister, if you will. And it seems that the people have been vouching for him to leave office. His time had also expired and he remained. So what do you think is that connection between both Jovenel Moïse and...
The truth is the matter, as I don't believe that Ariel Henry ought to have been the prime minister.
Yeah.
There was no basis for it. Nobody had elected him. Nobody had chosen him. He said that that Moïse had handpicked him to become prime minister before his assassination.
Correct.
There's no evidence of that, save his word.
Yeah.
But a United Nations representative had said that she thought that he would be the most appropriate person, and unfortunately, the powerful countries, that is, Canada, France, the United States, went along with that suggestion and adopted Henry, anointed him as the prime minister. Wasn't elected by anybody.
Correct.
And he
a
remained
tweet was sent.
He was as illegitimate, in my view, as Moïse had become at the end of his term, because he tried to run the country by decree. Now, one man running a country, even if he's running it with his own supporters, is not governance. That's not democracy. That's not political rights. That's not responding to anything that is legal. And therefore, it was only a question of time before Henry himself would have had to go, because he tried to establish bargains, as you know, first with the Montana group, but then with others. And each of those agreements that he tried to establish unraveled. And they unraveled because he could not deliver on the agreements that he made. He simply did not have the authority to do it. And at the end of the day, his authority was not rooted in the people of Haiti. The people of Haiti did not put him there. And since they had not put him there, they were very unmindful of whether he about his being removed from there. Which was why he has been removed without any protest from anybody in Haiti, save and except his own cabinet.
Yes. Now, Henri is also, I'm not sure if you've heard about that, but he's also implicated. He's implicated in the assassination. Well, alleged. Well, he's one of the alleged person who seemed to have.
I have no idea whether he is part of the. I have no idea.
Well, nobody knows. Nobody knows, and that's what I've said on this channel. That the fact that he is implicated, that should have already disqualified him from even day one, not allowing him to be even an acting prime minister until investigations are complete. Right?
Yes. If Haiti were a democracy, and governance did apply in the manner in which it applies in other countries, then yes, there would have been a standard of behavior, which would have said that if you are in a highly sensitive political office and the suggestions are being made that you were involved in a heinous crime, that you ought to step down and allow an investigation to take place, which would prove you innocent. Or guilty, as the case may be, but not to stay in office, perpetuating yourself in power when these accusations and allegations are being made. But you cannot, on the one hand, say that international standards of this height, this strength, should be applied to Haiti in circumstances where abnormality exists in almost every other aspect of the country. The place needs transformation. And one would have hoped that this transitional council that CARICOM and others have tried to establish over the last few days will come together as a group of Haitian people, leaders of various organizations, to try to agree at last, that they will put Haiti before themselves and try to establish an interim government led by a prime minister in whom there is confidence of all of them, so that that person has some authority with a mandate to carry on for 18 months to 2 years until the problem of the gangs can be dealt with and elections can be held.
Correct. Now, the fact of the matter is, and I've, my assessment, I'm not sure if I'm correct, and you could correct me if I'm not. Do you think that the CARICOM is only doing the bidding of the United States? Because when you look at a country like Jamaica, for example, that has problems with gangs and security issues, why would Jamaica, be leading out in that sort of effort in terms of the transitional government when we need to get our house together, get our house in order? Why is Jamaica leading out in that effort? I don't think Jamaica is, country that should be at the forefront in terms of.
I don't think there's any comparison between the situation in Jamaica and the situation in Haiti.
Well, it has not yet happened, but I'm sure if we continue on this trajectory that we are getting there too, we're heading in that direction too. Well, in terms of the crime and the balance.
I am not sure you are right.
Okay.
I mean, that is your view.
I'll be happy, and I would be happy that if I'm wrong. I'll be happy to be wrong. Yeah.
All I'm saying is that that's your view, and I've heard other people express it.
Yeah.
But Jamaica has institutions of governance.
It does.
Jamaica has a parliament. In the Jamaican parliament, there's a very strong opposition. Government in Jamaica is not by the ruling party only. Jamaica has a very strong history of judicial independence, and the judges in Jamaica operate with that judicial independence. More than that, Jamaica has a very strong and independent media.
Yeah.
And they're not scared to raise questions that need to be raised. So none of that exists in Haiti. Not a single thing that I've just described to you about the conditions in Jamaica exist in Haiti. Yes, there may be gangs, but the gangs are nowhere near the kind of gangs that formation or empowerment that we've seen in Haiti. So I don't think the two countries are comparable. Now, you ask if I believe that the CARICOM has been, I think you said,
doing the bidding of the United States. They're just following
the bidding of the United States. Well, I know my own prime minister, and he doesn't do the bidding of anybody.
Okay.
Save and except the electorate of the country.
Okay.
And there are a few other prime ministers that I know personally in the Caribbean. And I think I would put my head on the block that they too will do nobody's bidding. And if there may be one or two prime ministers in the Caribbean who would wish to do, as you say, the United States bidding, those one or two prime ministers cannot convince 12 others that they should do so.
Yeah.
The Caribbean has acted with clean hands and good faith in this matter of Haiti because it's concerned about the Haitian people.
Yeah.
We don't have a great deal of respect for the Haitian leadership, I have to tell you.
Correct.
We don't have a great deal of regard for the Haitian elite because they have enriched themselves at the expense of the people of Haiti.
Yeah.
And also, they themselves do not see themselves as part of the Caribbean. They see themselves as part of France and of the elite of wherever they go to in Canada or the United States.
Correct.
You only have to look at the Haitian embassy in Washington, for instance, and compare it with the Haitian embassy of Caribbean countries, and you will see that they are notoriously different. The Haitian embassy is a palace.
Yeah.
And it is occupied by people who wear Givenchy suits and Gucci suits and wear Cartier watches. And, you wonder how a very poor country like Haiti can afford to have diplomats of that kind representing them.
Right.
But that is an indication of the elitism that continues to reign in Haiti. Something which I hope that if we ever get past this stage of the gangs and their lawlessness, and we get to the point of an election and a new government is elected, one would hope that at last these Haitian politicians would have learned a lesson.
Okay, we have 2 more minutes remaining, Sir Sanders. if you were to be charged tomorrow to say something to the US government and the international community, 2 recommendations that you would make for the transitional government, what would you say to them? How do we move forward? And how do we get Haiti on a safe and democratic path?
Well, I think they've made a start with the people who are representatives of organizations, of the private sector, of the faiths, the religious faiths, and in Haiti, they've put together 9 people, 7 of whom will have a vote, 2 of whom will not.
Yeah.
But their role is to find a president agreeable to all, and to a prime minister who is agreeable to all to run the government. They also have to approve the cabinet ministers that he will appoint. In other words, they're acting as the Senate would have acted had it been in place.
Yes.
Because no prime minister in Haiti, under the old constitution, could have been appointed unless as there had been a senatorial hearing and an agreement that that person could be appointed. Same thing with the cabinet ministers. So they will be carrying out that role on some oversight. And every few months, they are mandated to review the work of the government led by the prime minister and the cabinet to ascertain whether or not it is acting in the way that it should be. And if it's not, they're in a position they have a mandate to do something about it.
Correct.
Now, having been given all of that authority, all of that responsibility, what one would have to hope is that these 9 people are going to act in the interest of the country, not of themselves.
Yes.
Not somebody wanting to be more powerful than the other, but getting together to say our country has a crisis, our people have needs, we want to be responsible. Let us therefore find a person in whom we all have confidence to be the prime minister and a government that can run the country for the next 18 months to 2 years.
Thank you so much, Sir Sanders. I look forward to seeing you in another interview. It was a great opportunity to have spoken with you so long, and see you another time. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.